Hello. So I thought I will talk about an existential question that I feel like a lot of humans probably have, but they don't investigate into it deeply enough, or they don't explore it deeply enough to find an answer that, you know, they might end up being satisfied about. So I remember I was talking to a friend while I was in school, and then we were walking up a staircase, and I was just, it was a time when, like teenager time, you were trying to find your identity, you were trying to like figure out how you relate to this whole world, and I was just talking to her, and I was just asking, do you think this is it? This is all there is to life? You go to school, um, get good grades, graduate, and then find a job, work at that job for like 50 years, and then while you're working, get into a family, have kids, grow old, retire. I was just asking her, do you think this is it to what life is just all about? Because if it is, then it just feels so meaningless at the time. It just feels like I am walking according to a script, like a already planned out script of what my life has to look like or should look like, and it just wasn't doesn't sound appealing to me at all. It was um if I had to follow that script, if I had to do um live my life according to what I felt like was expected, what I felt like was the societal or cultural norms of our time, then it just doesn't feel like a life that I wanted to live. And I was just like questioning, what am I doing here? What is life all about? And then it's just really, it's just really, I was just wondering that does life have to look like this? Or can it be something different? Does it have to be what feels like it's already like planned out for me? And so it was like a really pressing question at that point in my time, because I felt like I was already like halfway, almost about to enter like the important part where I'm graduate and then work and then have to follow that script. And I feel like the longer I follow it, the lesser I'll be able to just listen to this smaller voice inside of me that is just questioning whether this is all there is to it. If this is all there is to life. And so I didn't want that for myself. I didn't want to, just go along to what was expected. I wanted to decide and to find out for myself if there was more. There was more to life and to being alive. And so I threw myself into the question. I went all in on wanting to find the answer to my question, like what is life all about? And how can I live life in a way that is true to me, true to what I truly want and not what is expected of me or what everybody else wants from me? Because I feel like from like the moment you were born, right, you are like sort of like an empty canvas, and then people around you, your family, your friends, society, your teachers, what have you, they start to instill certain ideas into us about how we should be, how we should live, or who we should be, or how we are expected to be like in certain situations or in life. And so it felt like I was always living up to someone's expectations, of someone's norms, of what was of someone's opinions. And it didn't feel good. It feels like I am sort of disregarding my own true, my own voice, my own wants. And it just, it didn't feel good. And so, like in my teenage years, which was like an important time of like deciding who you wanted to be, of identity forming, I decided that I have to put a stop to it. Like I have to decide who is it that I want to be, how is it that I want to live, and how I would like my life to pan out. Because if I don't and I just go along, I feel like it is a tendency that I will just keep going along to what everybody else wants but me. And I just don't want that for myself. I don't want to live a life that is just very untrue to myself, that is just very, where I'm like, I feel like I'm betraying my own true, where I'm betraying myself. And so I decided I'm gonna figure out what life is all about. And if you are having similar like questions or thoughts that, this cannot be it to life. This cannot be what I'm here for. Like a already planned out script of how my life has to look like or should look like, then I hope you also throw yourself into that question and just find it out for yourself, and to like never give up until you find the answer. Because I feel like if you don't, then you just might be lying on your deathbed one day, like when you're, I don't know, 80, 90, or maybe later or earlier, what have you, I don't know. Depends on how your life is. That you might just regret that you haven't lived a life that was true to you, that was um true to your own wants, desires, and true to your own happiness. And I don't want that for you. I want everybody to like reach the end of their lives and be like, you know what? I lived a life that I was really satisfied about. I lived a life where I was just so contented that it was in a direction where I was really happy about. And you just have really enjoyed your time here on earth, and you don't have any regrets because you have already done everything that you wanted to do, that was true to you. And so, yeah, throw yourself into that question of how you would like to live. And then you might just find something. I'm not gonna say what, because I feel like everybody's journey is different. I feel like what might be the answer for me or for someone else might not be the answer for you, because we are all just so unique. We have our own different experiences, our own way of, looking at things. And yeah, so but I can share a little bit about my own journey. Um, so when I first started out, I was like, just like, where am I gonna find all the answers to my questions? Because I mean, I guess you could Google it nowadays. I mean, like Google is such a such a big helper. But when I first started out, I was just like, I didn't think the internet was like a very reliable source, because there's just so many possible things you could put up on the internet, like on the forums and everything. And I didn't want to listen to what people were saying. I wanted to like just find it out for myself, and it has to feel right and true for me. And so when I first started out, it was more like I went to the library, and then like my library was literally like my second home, because I was just so much there trying to find out. Like I'm pretty sure that if I have that question of what is this life all about, and how do I want to live, and existential questions, that if I were to ask that question, I feel like someone else probably has asked that question before already, and so I thought books might be a more reliable one since they are like published and they're in the library and they're less like. And I try to find sources from nonfiction because I thought like might be a bit more. I might get a little bit more objective answers as opposed to like subjective, because subjective it can be mixed in with a lot of people's like opinions, beliefs, judgments, and I don't want to like have that interfere with my own answers and how I interpret things. And so I try to find things from the nonfiction side and just like read about things that I'm interested in. And yeah, I was just like really relentless in my pursuit of finding out what in the world is life all about. And I want to know for sure. I didn't want to like take another person's opinions of it as my own, or like have it instilled into me. Because if it can be instilled into me, and that means it can be taken away also. And so I want it to be like true to the bone, where nothing can doubt it, um, nothing can oppose it. And because that is how I want the answer to be. That is how I want my answer to be, just so true that nothing can challenge it. And so that's what I did. Yeah, and sometimes you might just find that the answers, you don't have to look very far. That sometimes if you were to, you don't even have to read books. You might just be able to like sit still on your own, not have any distractions, just sit still, and you might find that there's a certain answers or feelings well up inside of you. And I don't know, there could be so many different ways where the answers come to you, but that decision of wanting to find out what life is all about, it has to it has to be the seed. You have to plant the seed, and then how it grows, you can don't control it as much, because sometimes the answers that you're looking for, the answers that you're finding, they might come to you in ways that you don't expect them to. And there's a beauty in that. And so yeah. So will you like start to go and discover or explore or find out if there is more to life, if life could be more meaningful or deeper than you are originally brought up to believe. And I hope that you find an answer that is true to you, that you are very happy with, because I did. And it is like a feeling unlike any other that I've ever experienced. And it just gives me a lot of comfort, relief, and satisfaction. And I want the same for you too. So that's it. That's all I want to share for today. If there's anything you want to share, you can just leave it in the comment box. Well, if you are also beginning to start on this like journey of figuring out how you want to live, what life is all about, and everything, I wish you all the best, and I wish that like mm, you find what you're looking for. I hope you find what you're looking for, and I know that if you are truly serious and relentless about knowing the answer to the question, then you will find what you're looking for, because you just will. And so, yep, that's it for this video. And yep, bye.